Hey guys, it's Retro Rose here, and welcome back to another Mushy Monday. We play cute and cozy games, and last Monday we kind of finished up the demo update for Our Life Now and Forever, and we are back with Our Life Beginning and Always. Now, I do want to preface this by saying I have gotten all of the demos. I've gotten all of the DLCs, so we're definitely going to be enjoy playing that. And oh god, let's see where we left off. Okay, so we were in step 2 moments. So we're going to do the DLC, and then we're going to continue into, thank you for purchasing Derek's DLC. Here you can play 5 new moments centered around Derek. He also has a special epilogue in step 4. To unlock it, you need to fulfill these conditions. Play all 5 of Derek's DLC moments. Complete arrays with Cove by going alone is alright, as long as you finish the moment. Choosing to remain in touch with Derek during step 3. Then you will have the option to play Derek's epilogue during the step 4. You can only have 1 epilogue per playthrough. You can make a save on the epilogue section page to reload there and pick another later. Derek's DLC can be a friendship or romantic story. See, I knew it. Well, I can't say I knew it because it was Baxter that kind of gave that indication with Now and Forever, where it was kind of like there's a romantic kind of thing there that you could have pursued. I'm getting characters mixed up. So we're going to do Summerwork. So again, my name is Retro Rose. I play a variety of games from indie horror to visual novel, suspense, action, adventure, puzzle, you name it. We're gonna do Summerwork. You stared out of the window, watching the scenery pass by as your mom drove down the quiet streets at a leisurely pace. A singer crooned sweetly from the radio, turned low enough that you could block it out if you wanted. You turned away from the window when your mom suddenly spoke up. "Well, kids, are you excited to be going to the library?" "I guess." "You don't sound so sure there, Rose." Mom wasn't wrong. It was what it was. But your real interest lay elsewhere. There hadn't ever been a time when you were super excited to go to the library. What about you, Cove? You're a part of the conversation too.
Yeah.
I like the library. I can work better there than at home.
Sounds good.
Well, I'm happy this will be of use to you. Just make sure you're not distracted by one another. That would defeat the purpose of this trip. She grinned over at you briefly, so you knew she was kidding and meant nothing by it. Mom refocused on driving, humming along with the radio under her breath. You went back to staring outside. As you passed one street, you caught a glimpse of someone in brightly colored clothing passing out balloon animals. It sparked a faraway memory, and you felt your lips twitching up before consciously remembering why. How long ago was it that you and Cove watched the amazing Alexander performing magic tricks? I remember that. Hey, Cove, do you remember that one guy? Cove waited, and you took a moment to elaborate. Alexander, the amazing Alexander, he gave us dolphin balloons for free. At this reminder, Cove smiled faintly. Oh yeah, I wonder if he's ever there now. Maybe we should go more often to check. Maybe. That was the first time we ever went down that street together, I think. I miss my balloon. He was a good dolphin for that one afternoon I had him. Yeah, hey Cove, what were you going to name your balloon? You never told me. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember what Kid Me was thinking. Probably something obvious like Flipper. You couldn't help the way your own smile curled up higher at the sentiment. You wanted to say something else, but couldn't quite think of what, and so just settled back into your seat. When silence filled the car again, you returned your attention to the window. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. You leaned your face to the sunshine, tempted to close your eyes as the gentle rays warmed your cheeks. Rose? Huh? You lifted yourself up a bit more, seeing your mom twisting her torso to face you, confused from the front seat of the car. Next to you was nothing. Cove's car door was already open. You had reached the destination before you even realized it. I was asking, what time should I pick you two up? Oh, 4 should be okay. That should give you enough time to finish your summer assignments, or at least make a large enough dent. Thanks, Mom. You hopped out of the car, remembering to grab your backpack at the last second. All right, then have fun, you two. Yeah, fun. You weren't going to the library to have fun. You needed to make sure that you understood the material forwards and backwards, or else your grades might not be what you needed them to be. The two of you went right to the door of the library. Cove reached it first and tugged it open, stepping inside. He kept it propped open so you could pass through them behind him. The air was much cooler inside the building than it had been for a few seconds. You spent outdoors. The space was filled with the soft dim of papers being moved and whispered voices. Hey, you seem kind of distracted on the ride here. I'm excited to see Derek. You wanna walk around for a bit? What? I'm distracted. So, Cole looked dangerously close to rolling his eyes. The more time we take getting there, the less time we'll have for what we came to do. He wasn't wrong, plus Derek was waiting for you. Your study buddy was standing at the front of the library by a stack of magazines. Predictably, he was flipping through with various sports players on the cover, looking intense enough to burst off the page. His head snapped up when you walked over, beaming widely. Hey Rose, Cove. Hi, were you waiting for a while? Not super long. Derek put the magazine back in its place, and he gestured to the space at his side. Most of the tables were empty, only a few people leafing through the books. There's plenty of room. An unspoken agreement, the three of you started moving towards the seating area, Derek taking 2 steps for every one of Cove's. Oh, guess what? I'm pretty sure I've mastered the fake shot. I'll show you some other time. Derek looked over to gauge the level of interest. Do you know it? Soccer, not really for me. How does it go? Derek's eyes flashed with excitement as he explained. Well, you move the ball like you're going to go one way, then you demonstrated by running a few steps ahead, showing off some fancy footwork. And you do like this so that it doesn't look like that. You laughed, bobbing your head at his attempt to get a trick across with no ball. Shh. The 3 of you looked over to the checkout desk. The librarian stood behind it and was wearing a deep frown. You were apologetic. You mouthed sorry, and she sighed before returning back to the book she was reading. Derek scratched his cheek, choosing not to let that derail things. So, what are you guys working on? Yeah, you had to start a single assignment, Sally. There were some things you had gotten a start with, but it was still early in the summer, so there was a lot left. I've got some math problems that need work. The atmosphere was good for studying, and you felt motivated to tackle them. There's some summer reading too. I have to go through an assignment book, but I'm going to do that later since it doesn't need extra references or anything. I've already finished the reading. Oh, it's not that long, and it was way more interesting than last year's book. Good to know. What about you two? I've got a few worksheets. They look pretty easy, but my school gave us 3 books to read. Can't they just stick with just one? I'm doing a timeline for history. You all found a table close to the tall bookshelves and set up camp. Within seconds, pencils and folders and books were strewed out on the surface. You focused on your work. There was no time to lose. You were at the library with people you knew, but you couldn't afford to let that distract you. You checked the requirements on the homework sheet your teacher had given you, then opened up your textbook to the pages you needed. After some time, Cole shifted in his seat, twisting his back as if he was trying to work knots out of it. Feeling antsy? You paid enough attention to Cole to recognize when he's no longer feeling comfortable. Yeah, I'm going to wander around for a bit. See you. I'm going to stay here. I'm making good progress. I'll come with you. You might as well take an opportunity to refresh yourself before getting back to work. The 2 of you strolled away from where you've been working. Your eyes roam over the titles of books as you pass by. Some were dull, some intriguing, and others were just strange, but you didn't spot anything that made you pause and pick it up. Looking for something? No, but something might catch my eye. You never know. I might go out of here if there's enough time. His comment reminded you of the clock ticking away. Even after you finish your work for the summer, the countdown to new school year would still be on track. Before you know, we'll be back at class. Yeah, we just got out and it's almost here again. Are you looking forward to going back? Cove rubbed his arm, drawing attention to the scar he had earned as a reckless kid with his far-off gaze. Not really, I don't want summer to end. I like learning stuff, but the way school does it, I want to grow up already. Cove didn't feel safe knowing it was others who were really determined what his life was like. You understood that much. He smiled supportively. You caught eyes and looked on understandingly in a way you hoped was comforting. Every year things are different. I don't like it. You might be different in a good way. They might be different in a good way. Cole turned back to you. You felt the weight of his full attention. Maybe if we get to be in the same classes, that'd be something. I'd like that. A smile spread across his face, wrinkling his eyes. What about you? Do you want to go back to school already? I like summer. No, I don't want summer to end either. It made you stressed just thinking about it. Cove nodded, obviously getting where you were coming from. There was really no getting away from the topic of school right now. It prompted you to think back to the classes you were in. You pursed your lips. You wanted to enroll in our art class. It wasn't mandatory at your school, but you definitely hoped to participate. English class was enjoyable. You liked the books we had to read in English class. The writing assignments were engaging too. I didn't like math. Science class did fascinate me though. You hope there'd be more cool experiments this coming semester. And that was all. Each lost in your own thoughts, you continued to stroll through the library for a little while longer until Cove caught your attention again. We should probably head back. Yeah, let's go. Before you could take a step back, Cove cleared his throat, avoiding your gaze. Thanks for listening before. Anytime. Cove smiled, his cheeks pink. You jerked your head towards where Derek had been left studying. Time to get back to work. Cove and you rejoined Derek and settled back as quiet as you could manage. Working continued as normal from there. The sound of shuffling dragged you out of your head and you looked up surprised to see Derek packing up. You're done? Derek casually shrugged, but you could tell he felt proud to be the first to finish. Told you it wasn't anything hard. What are you going to do now? You wonder how Derek was going to spend his newfound freedom. I could look over what you're doing. Maybe I've got some tips that'll help. That'd be great, thanks. I gotcha. With a smile, Derek leaned over your part of the table. He took some time to get the gist and points in the right direction before turning it back over to you. Derek leaned on the back of his feet. Okay, I'm gonna look around while you guys finish. See you. Bye. See you. Later on, Cove shifted in his seat, closing his book as he looked over the notes he had been taking. Glancing away, you contemplated what you had done thus far, too. You had finished most of the assignments. You were pleased with what you had accomplished. Next time, you could focus on what you had left. Derek's advice made it easier in the end. Are you about ready? It's almost 4. Yeah, I think so. Come on. The both of you gathered your books, and after returning the ones you'd used for reference to the proper shelves, set off to find wherever Derek had wandered off to. He was at the biograph section. His back was to the two of you, one hand above his head and the other supporting himself against the shelf as he strained to grab one of the books. Hey Derek, we're ready. Oh, okay. He glanced towards the sound of your voice, then up towards the shelf he was trying to reach. That was a struggle you knew all too well. Want me to get the librarian? Oh, nah, it's okay. I just wanted to flip through it anyway. And then the three of you moved to the front of the library to wait for your rides. You stood close to the window and let out a content sigh, feeling the rays warm you from the slight chilly library interior. Got any plans after this? Gonna work on my technique. Oh, I can't get rusty while school's out. That answer was inevitable. Technique for what? Soccer. How about you two? The words you two echoed in your mind. You knew what Derek meant, but why was it bringing a smile to your face to be linked to Cove even in the most tenuous circumstance? Nothing planned. Me neither. Oh, that's my dad's car. Derek lifted a hand to wave, pushing the door open and headed towards the blue pickup truck waiting in the parking lot.
Talk to you later.
See you later, Rose. Bye, Cove. You watched Derek jog off before scanning the area for your mom. Did you get everything done? Yeah, only got some thicker paper to draw for a final draft on. I saw you're basically done. He smiled, impressed. You felt pretty good about that. I feel like I'll need to come back to the library again before summer's over. I'll come with you. I still have some stuff I can do. You smiled at the idea. Despite not working on the same thing, it'd be nice to have some company. I'm good with that. Hey, do you want to do something with me after this? Oh, sure. Cole seemed eager towards the offer. You hadn't exactly expected him to say no, but the agreement still made you happy. The two of you smiled at each other. Cove looked away for a second, and so you did too, fidgeting with the hem of your shirt. It wasn't long before you spied your mom's car coming down the road. Here she is. Time to go then. You climbed into the car, sliding into your usual seat and buckling the belts. Hey kiddos, did you get a lot done? Yeah. Nice. The car shifted into action and you watched as the library shrunk into the distance. It wouldn't be the last time you saw it this summer, but at least you knew you were going to have company. You fielded questions for your mom while you tried to juggle a conversation with Cove. When she learned you two were planning to return, she immediately offered to give you a ride next time. You continued to answer mom's questions about what you'd been working on, then told her about your plans to stick with Cove after getting back. There was something knowing in her smile that made you pause just for a moment. But soon enough, the trip was over. You had arrived back at your neighborhood. Cove had run over to his house real quick to drop his stuff off. You also made a pit stop to put your backpack away before heading out again. I love the music from beginning and always. I just absolutely love it. The two of you regrouped in the middle of the road, halfway between your houses. With everything wrapped up, you could now freely enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Your conversation resumed as you both began walking down the street together. The afternoon came and went, dinner was eaten, and you were clearing up the dishes left behind from it. Cove had elected to stay for a meal today. He passed you a couple of plates to rinse in the sink. Even though he didn't have to, Cove asked to do that, at least something to help. You scrubbed the last of them and let out a satisfied sigh. Okay, they're done. I'm going upstairs now. You addressed your guests for the evening. Are you going to come with me? Yeah, I don't have to go back till later. Take it easy, kids. Thank you for your help. When you got back to your room, you noticed your backpack from earlier. You figured it would be best to unpack the stuff you needed before going to bed. Cove plopped into your desk chair and spun around a bit. He got comfortable. Oh, this has changed. Oh, look at that. He watched you contentedly as you walked across the room. He didn't need or expect you to try to entertain him constantly. It was just nice to be near each other, even when nothing was going on. You heft your back up onto the bed and sunk into the comforter. With that, you started to sort through books and paper packets. Not all of it were things you needed anytime soon. A small pile of the most important assets began to grow at the side of your backpack until you'd gone over it all. You had actually finished flipping through the contents, but that wasn't all of your work. You instinctively pulled the opening closer to you and peered inside. A second look through the commenced, and then a third, and then you began to open the smaller pockets. You are missing your math assignment. No, Rose. By this point, Cove could tell something was wrong. This was part of your summer work that you had gotten done, and now it was gone. It hadn't been noteworthy before, but the bag wasn't really zipped when you had begun to go through. Oh, Lord. Or could have fallen out somewhere if you had it in the first place. Oh, God. It was best to think positively. You might find it somewhere, and even if you didn't, there are other things you could do to fix the problem. My math work isn't in my backpack. At your word, Cove jumped out of his seat. Oh crap. Oh, this is extreme. This is extreme. Oh crap. Is there somewhere we can look? The back was kind of open, so he went sympathetically. That left a lot of options for where it might be, most of them bad. He resolved to check the spot the backpack was originally left in. It couldn't hurt to look. With nothing in sight there, you expand the search the rest of the space. Cove did his best to stay out of your way while keeping an eye for your missing work. It was fruitless. It was a fruitless effort. Your assignment wasn't here. Let's check downstairs. It might still be in your house somewhere or someplace. Fine.
How are you?
Hello again. Is everything all right? You told Mom what was going on. I unpacked my bag and one of my assignments wasn't there.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, sweetie. What's missing? An assignment for school from the library today. Mom's eyebrows raised with concern at the answer. That's a pickle. I'll call right now. I think they might still be open. Thanks, Mom. You're welcome. Just leave it to me. Cove, honey, can you tell us if there's anything you noticed where you were with Rose, right? I saw the assignment when Rose had it out at the library. I don't remember her putting it away, but I'm pretty positive there's nothing left on the table when we were done. He spoke resolutely. Before now, he hadn't considered that something might have been left behind. He had felt the same way when leaving, though. It was hard not to second guess things now. Your mom re-entered the scene a few minutes later. Look on her face was not promising. So I got a hold of one of the librarians. I don't have any papers with your name on it. Not that they could see anyway, I'm sorry. Oy. Thanks for trying. Of course, I'm sorry it was a bust. It's not your fault. Rose, hey, let's go over to my house. I can check my bag. Maybe I took it when we were packing up and didn't notice. Oh, good idea. Things were getting heavy here with your mom's worrying. Maybe he needed to get away from it, or maybe he thought you needed a chance to get away from it. Let's go. Cove nodded and made his way to the door. Your mom stood by with creased brows. Take care, kids. Good luck. Bye, moms. You briskly made a trip across the street. In less than a minute, you were going through the threshold of Cove's house. Cove had been in a rush earlier today, too. His backpack was tossed on the couch without a thought. No one had moved it since then. You can sit down or anything. I'm gonna look. He lifted up the backpack and unzipped it in a fluid motion. You were left to wait as he rooted around inside with an unexpected level of seriousness. You accepted his offer of hospitality and took it easy. It wasn't possible to stop Cove on his quest, so you tried to relax in the meantime. Eventually, he sighed heavy. Cove's arms were still stuck away inside, but the search was over. Sorry. It was obvious there wasn't much of a chance Cove somehow had it this whole time. He shrugged. That's all right. Maybe Derek has it. He dropped the backpack on the floor unceremoniously and spoke with a cautious tone. Is it? Are you really okay? I really am. I can get another copy and rewrite the stuff. It's nice of you to ask about it. That's cool. I'm glad. Cove laughed lightly, and you noticed a small shake to it. He was clearly relieved you were going to get through this. It was so sweet. He had been more upset about the loss than you. I think it's admirable how you can keep it together like that. You were flattered. You thought so. Oh, Cove was someone you were close with. That's true. But you hadn't expected him to say you were admirable. Admirable. It was nice. Then the moment was interrupted by a piercing ring of the Holland home phone. Your wordless stare at the other. With raised brows, Cove's mouth formed a tiny frown. Kyra appeared from the hall on the far side of the living room, summoned by the noise. Oh yeah, his mama's still here. Hey, Cove. Hey, Rose. I didn't know you were here. She strolled on past. Your eyes followed her. Cove's mama answered the phone, giving a chipper greeting to whoever was on the other end. A few later, thanked the person and placed the phone down once more. Rose, that was your mom. She said your stuff was in the car. Oh, God.
What?
Really? I love Cove. That's what I was told. Now, I'll just return to the guest room. You can have your privacy. Cove's face cycled from shock to sour as his mom made her escape, laughing. He shook the interruption off and refocused on you. We've got it. They've got it. As you guessed, this wasn't going to be a big deal. They've got it. Cove smiled crookedly and shrugged one shoulder. We should probably head to your house. Your moms might want to talk to you. Yeah, my parents really care about me. They had kept searching even after you left. And because of that, it all worked out. Cove nodded in agreement. Cove, it really means a lot that you stuck with me. Thanks. He brightened up with sparkling eyes. Anytime, Rose. While stepping towards the door together, there was a thought in your head that you knew to be true. You were going to be there for one another, with the small things, even when it came to big things. Oh, that was cute. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me for this part for Our Life Beginning and Always, the DLC moment with Summerwork. So I hope that after watching this video, you become a part of my Rose Garden and tune in for more content for Mushy Mondays or my Retro Wednesdays or my Freaky Fridays. So next time we're going to get into Escapade, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. I love this music.